It's day 2 on the PDAC floor, and today we have Simon Stilwell from Resouro. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Good to be here.
And Simon, congratulations, you're the new chairman for Resouro. How did they get your interest, and why did you choose Resouro to put your name on it?
Well, I knew Chris from 25 years ago in my early capital markets career. I acted for Monterico Metals, which was, I think, his first business. And we had a good working relationship then, and I've always followed the work that he's done. I went off and did various other things and have been active in capital markets for the best part of 30 years, and all of that came to an end in the summer of last year, and so I had a bit of time off, and then I thought, what am I going to do in 2026? So I rang around the people I knew and had projects that I thought were interesting, and the Resouro one really caught my eye. And there are a number of things about that. One was the scale of the project. If you're going to do something, do a big one, and it's a really, really big project. I liked the grade, and that was really helpful in terms of forming what could be done with the business. The jurisdiction, good. Brazil, I think, is a great operating market. And then even before everything that's happened in the last few weeks, the end markets and who the customers were likely to be was a key component in the decision making. So that was my attraction. Chris and I got back together, and it kind of went from there.
I always tell everybody at InvestorNews.com to check out the CEO's background. Of course, Chris Eager's background is very impressive. I think we can both agree.
Agreed, yeah.
And he's obviously putting his dream team back together. Is that what's going on?
Well, Monterico was successful, and there are people you work with in life that you get on with, and you work well together, and you complement each other's kind of skill sets, and I think that's the case here.
So, what are your goals at PDAC?
Well, it's a big fact-finding mission. So we're sort of I think week 3 in the job, and so it's a perfect opportunity to see everything else that's happening both in the mining industry and in the rare earth space, because it's moving fast. I think there's been 15 separate announcements this morning just in rare earths alone, and it's easier for me to follow some of the UK activities, but what's been happening in Africa and Australia and South America, I'll be catching up on that. I'll be meeting the rest of the Resouro board as well, which is going to be good because we've only ever done it virtually before. And I'll be trying to sort out some of the things that really is on my to-do list for 2026 in terms of offtakes and meeting the consultants and just generally working out how we're going to create value during 26.
And of course, you put out some metallurgical test work and a PEA update this morning. Would you like to touch on that?
So, yeah, 2 components: metallurgical update, which I think we showed some really good recoveries, and pleased with those. We've got a bit more work to do to get the level of acid consumption down. That's probably higher than we would want, but we've got time to do that. But I think the key standout message is good grade, good recovery, and that gives us a platform to work on going forward. And then with the PEA, we've moved that to slightly later in the year because we've got more work to do. But I'm fine with that. I think part of my role is to have a reset of the corporate calendar over 2026 and make sure we've got everything in the right place and we don't suffer any slippage.
So, of course, Resouro is a titanium play. In fact, it's a magnanimous titanium play. And you also have rare earths and the rare earths play. How do you decide how you're going to prioritize the storytelling? Because storytelling is critical in selling a company to the capital markets.
Yeah, so that's part of the puzzle that I'm here to unlock, really, because if you talk to people about a rare earths project, they're excited because of everything that's happening in that market, and titanium, kind of less so, depressed price. It's slightly more problematic, and we have got a dual strategy, really. So I think part of what I've got to do is work out where we're going to place that bet and really sort of recraft that message to make sure it's clear and we're following the right path. Now, there's a huge benefit in having the 2 strategies, but from an investor's perspective, it can be complicating. And in my experience, they just want the clarity of, who are they, what are they really trying to achieve, and can we measure them against that? And I think having the 2, not that we can sell or divide, but having the 2 and not being crystal clear on which one we're following first, does make life for investors slightly more difficult.
I'll tell you, if you achieve those goals during PDAC, that will be an incredibly successful show for you. So what should shareholders be looking forward to in the next next quarter or two?
In the next quarter. So if I can push us out through till probably the end of the year. So, the key one that people are looking for is going to the PEA. So I think that'll be sort of mid-year. That'll be the first one. I think clarity on that strategy and clearer messaging on what we're trying to achieve, I think would be a second one. We've also got our gold project, Nuevo Mundo, which we need to be clear as to what we're doing with that, because it has value, but we rarely talk about it. And again, it's another part of the story that people may think, is it titanium, is it gold, is it rare earth? So we need to be clear on what we're doing with that. And it would be really good to bring the board together on those objectives so that we understand, the time frame that we're working to. And the other one I would put in there is some form of offtake agreement, which I think would be helpful in terms of knowing there's an end market for our product.
Well, for everybody out there interested in finding out more about Resouro, titanium, rare earths, and gold, please go to the following website. Thank you so much, Simon, and congratulations for joining the board of directors.
Thank you.